Well, dozens of organizations gathered to make a positive impact on a group that's already facing hardship.
Our Bella Caracta shows us how.
According to the Nebraska Department of Health and Human Services, up to 2,000 refugees are resettled in Omaha every year. These are people who have been accepted into the U.S. because of persecution in their home country. Restoring Dignity is a local nonprofit helping make their relocation to Omaha easier.
They are part of the community too.
When you're fleeing a country as a refugee and land in America, some things get put on the back burner, but are important nonetheless.
Vision screening, dental screening, diabetes screening, blood pressure screening.
Nonprofit Restoring Dignity is helping people catch up and settle down. That's why they hosted a fair organized by Pobway 2, also a refugee.
Sometimes refugee experience transportation barrier.
The biggest barrier, she says, is language, which is why they recruited interpreters identified by yellow lanyards.
Okay, she originally from Haiti.
Along with health screenings, social services share their resources too. In total, about 45 tables, 45 opportunities to learn about how Omaha can help.
I really just want my community to know that in order for us to get help, we do have to put ourselves out there. So I'm glad that we are here today.
They also offered a mail reading table to make sure no notices are left unread. On your side in Omaha, Bella Caracta, 6 News.
COVID relief money helped pay for the event today. Organizers say they hope to find other sources of funding to do it next year.